the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
Hello there, it's midday. Welcome to Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. The bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka here in Accra. Also live across the country on our partner stations globally on citinewsroom.com, Citi 97.3 FM on Facebook and CityTube on YouTube. My name is Ni Lati. This afternoon, I'm here with
Eno Safo.
Our headlines. Busa South NP Clement Apak says government misplaced priorities in the educational sector is to blame for the woes of caterers under the school feeding program.
It is not about a lack of resources. Yes, we may be in economic crisis as a result of reckless borrowing, barefaced corruption. It is about misplaced priorities.
More as the striking caterers insist they are not returning to work until the money owed them by government is paid. But there is division among them in the northern region. We've got details for you. In this edition also,
we need our money. If he is able to amount that amount, which is the 2.5 million for a new project, why is it that they are not paying us? So we are pleading with the government and then the ministry as well. They should give us our money.
Seedlings contractors under the Green Ghana project renew threat to sue government over non-payment of 2 years arrears for services provided under the tree planting exercise. Ahead in this package, residents of Chibi jumped to the defense of President Akufo-Addo, discrediting claims of heavy galamsey in the home of the president as captured in the report by former Environment Minister Professor Frimpong Boateng. A little later in the bulletin, 5 persons face prosecution for obstructing the work of ECG engineers in the Eastern region. All that and more on Citi Prime News, which is broadcasting not only in Accra, but around the country on Premier FM 100.5 in Takoradi and Beach, 105.5 FM also in Takoradi, both in the Western region. If you are listening to us in the Bono region, this is Green FM 95.9 in Sunyani, Ashanti region, Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi, Queen Radio 96.7 MHz in Kando, and Heritage FM 107.3 FM in Hohoi in the Volta region. In the Northern region, we are live on Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi, Word FM 88.3 in Zwarungu. In the Upper East region, Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura in the Upper West region, and Eagle FM 94.1 in Wale in the Northeast region.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for choosing us indeed. This is Citi Prime News updating you with all the running stories and connecting you with the newsmakers. This afternoon we begin from here because caterers under the school feeding program insist on their nationwide strike despite pleas from the Secretariat to return to work. Their resolve comes after the public relations officer for the school feeding Secretariat, Alpha Siba, disclosed that the government was collaborating with the Secretariat to ensure that the demands of caterers of the program would be met so they could return to cook for pupils and across the country. Speaking to the host of the Citi Breakfast Show, Bernard Avle, a caterer, Helena Apia, refuted claims that the government and the Secretariat had met or dialogued with them concerning their demands.
The problem now is not about the payment alone. As for the payment, whether it's 1,000 years, 500 years, it will come. The problem now is how much we are being paid per child. I heard Siba saying a whole lot of things as if he has come down to the cages, and yet so we are not giving them listening ears. Barely 2 months ago, monies were given to them to organize program cages. Do you know what they did? They selected a few women organizers to a place and they made show off that they were doing training. Where did they get the money from? Now they are saying there's no money. This same money that they should sit down and dialogue with us, district by district, region by region, they will not do. Then they will come on air and paint the whole thing blue, black. Why? Ask Kwashina, how many times has she called patriots to meeting? Look, we are in it. We know what we are going through. This issue started way back 2020. We are in 2023. What is happening? What are they dialoguing? That they cannot even come to us to tell us that, oh, this is what the situation is. Yet they go on air and they say all sorts of things. I think the patriots are being stubborn. Please. You go to the secretariat, they say, oh, Yasiabre. This is all they do.
So I was asking, how determined are you in terms of the strike? Today is the first day of the strike. How long will it take?
From them, as long as we hear from them, they think we are kids that they control us about. Hey, go and cook. If you don't cook, cooking this, they'll take it out from your pay. If you know you can't cook, it's not by force. Somebody wants the job, and you are cutting it, and you are flexing. If you can't cook, put your things down. Creditors are chasing you around here and there. This week, when you sleep here, the following week, you have to go and sleep here because they know you are here. When you hear they know you are here, now you have to run to another place. Why? It's party work. Those who are driving the V8 and moving about, are they better than we the caterers? Or because we are in the kitchen, we don't know how to read and write?
That's Helena Pia. She is one of the aggrieved caterers under the school feeding program. Staying with this story because a member of the Education Committee of Parliament, Honorable Clement Apak, describes as worrying the challenges bedeviling the school feeding program and said that the government had misplaced priorities leading to the current situation.
Persuades is not even sufficient to prepare a decent meal for a pet cat or a pet dog. And yet, we are saying that these women should perform in these very difficult economic conditions where the cost of every food item has risen astronomically. And yet we fail to see the need to increase the fee per student so that the women can prepare what is described as a hot, nutritious meal to feed our wards. You see, it is not about a lack of resources. Yes, we may be in economic crisis as a result of reckless borrowing, barefaced corruption, and a tendency to blame everyone else but those managing our economy for our current predicament. It is about misplaced priorities. And I say so because if you were to look at the 2023 budget, you go to Appendix 6, page 229. The appendix has listed 16 cost centers or programs that government itself designates as government flagship programs, cost of government flagship programs. So you have the free senior high school, just about 3 billion. You have water and sanitation. You have school feeding. And guess what? The amount allocated to school feeding program is 969 million Ghana cedis. So you tell why is government failing to pay the caterers their arrears? And why is government adamant in increasing the fee to feed a child per day under these conditions? And yet the same government can actually find money to support a tree planting exercise, when in fact that tree planting exercise, Greening Ghana, is not captured under the list of government flagship programs.
That was the member of the Education Committee in Parliament and MP for Busa South, Honorable Clement Apak.
Still on the matter, some school feeding caterers in the northern region have defied a directive to lay down their tools, while others have complied with the nationwide action. The caterers across the country are on strike following the government's failure to pay them their arrears and increase the feeding grant of 97 pesos per child. However, caterers at the Jisonyali EA Basic School in the northern region were at work. The matron at the school, Lucy Kanai, explained her reason for defying the strike.
When we say menyankuruma ko strike, nyema nye. But yen yinan ye bet me a strike no. Because Osha, Bibia moya ding. And see a papa kufado say.
It is indeed true that my colleagues have embarked on a strike because things are difficult. However, not all of us can refuse to work, as pupils here depend solely on the food we cook for them. We are urging President Akufo-Addo to listen to the cry of caterers.
Se onhwe animu maye obetimi atuma no ntum kakra maye e na katua no so emra entem kakra emmaye because ye didika it's a pa na ebepa na cho.
Lucy Kanai is matron at the Jisonyili EA Basic School in the Northern Region.
Away from school feeding issues, and the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, has issued a 14-day ultimatum to its customers in the Volta region to pay their bills or face disconnection. The acting Volta Regional General Manager, Engineer Michael Boabin, made this known at a media briefing following the company's one-month national revenue mobilization exercise. We saw it recoup over 40 million Ghana cedis in the Volta and parts of the OT regions. Mr. Boabin said the option of disconnecting customers who still owe after the grace period was in accordance with the PURC's regulations.
Though the exercise officially ended on 20th April 2023, we have not stopped or suspended revenue collection activities in the region. We will continue this exercise, and we are poised to achieve our targets. We want our customers to know that they have 14 days to pay their current bills or face disconnection as stated in the PURC regulation LI 2413. When the company gives you a bill, you have to pay the full amount within 14 days, and failure to do so will lead to disconnection as stated in PURC regulation LI 2413. For example, the national exercise we did covered outstanding debts till February bills. Hence, the last bill we sent to our customers was the March bill, which we know most of them received it more than 14 days ago. If you receive your March bill between 1st and 10th April 2023 and you have not paid, know that you are due for disconnection, so please go and pay. For those who have paid fully, we thank them for this patriotic act of paying for electricity consumed. But for those who have not, our revenue officers will be visiting you soon.
Here, the acting Volta Regional Manager of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Engineer Michael Boabin.
5 persons are currently facing prosecution for preventing engineers of the Electricity Company of Ghana from carrying out their duties at Ochenso, a community near Nkrankai in the Yilokrobo municipality of the Eastern Region. According to the management of the ECG, a timely intervention from the police prevented the community members from clashing with its engineers. In a related development, an assemblyman at Apanaman, who through the information center instigated the community against personnel of ECG at Akwatia district, is also assisting the police with investigations. These incidents are among challenges faced by the Eastern Regional Office of the Power Distribution Company during its month-long revenue mobilization exercise that were highlighted at a press briefing today in Koforidua. The Eastern Regional Manager of ECG, Engineer Sariel Etre, indicated that out of the 231 million cedi target set by the region's office, an amount of 63.6 million Ghana cedis was collected from debtors.
We started the exercise smoothly in the region on the 20th of March and ended it successfully on the 20th of April. The region had a target to collect 231 million Ghana cedis. We were able to collect 63.6 million Ghana cedis as at 20th of April, and we are still counting. Both our special low tariff customers and non-SLT customers supported the exercise by coming out in their numbers to pay their bills, which when we approached them. This is commendable, and we urge them to continue to do so. The region was able to uncover 7 illegal connections in Akwatia, Kede, Suhum, and Koforidua district. The revenue protection team has so far recovered 32,000 units from 5 of our customers. The corresponding amount of money is 38,000 Ghana cedis, out of which 23,000 Ghana cedis it has been paid. Notable among the identified illegal connection is a pub in Suhum, which had bypassed a meter, and a customer who connected power without authorization in Kede. The region recorded two minor challenges in the exercise. The first challenge was recorded at Apinamai in the Akwetia district, where an assembly member for the area announced at an information center to instigate customers against ECG staff. The swift intervention of the police averted any clashes. The other incident occurred at Otriso near Nkwakan, where the police were called in to intervene in a situation where some members of the community prevented ECG officials from carrying out their duties. 5 persons were arrested and are currently assisting the police in investigation pending prosecution. We would like to express our gratitude to the Ghana Police Service for supporting us during the exercise.
Engineer Sariel Ichere further indicated that the company had commenced replacing some faulty meters identified during the exercise. He added that the company was also intensifying the capturing of all self-help electrification project meters to improve revenue inflows and ensure customers would receive their bills so they can pay promptly.
We would like to inform the general public that the company identified some faulty meters and we have commenced the replacement of all such meters to improve revenue inflows. The company is also intensifying the capturing of sharp meters to ensure every customer receives their bills and pay promptly. Customers who have not yet received their bills after 3 months after we install the meters should visit any of our district offices for help. The ECG Revenue Protection Team is carrying out a field visibility exercise to check the metering status of customers and update offline smart meters. They will also check for illegal connection and self-reconnection among customers who have been disconnected due to their indebtedness. In conclusion, the company would like to assure the general public that this enhanced revenue mobilization exercise has come to stay and will be used to retrieve all debts owed by our customers. We therefore remind customers that their bills, when issued to them, has 14 days grace period within which they must pay or be disconnected. It is therefore advisable for customers to visit our help desks for their bills if they do not receive them in the month. We appeal to our cherished customers once again to desist from illegal activities which have negative effects on our operations. We also want to urge our customers to use our new payment platform, such as the enhanced mobile app and short code *226# to ensure that they pay their bills in the comfort of their homes. The Eastern Region ECG will continue to work hard to ensure that customers enjoy stable electricity and get value for money.
You heard the Eastern Regional Manager of ECG, Engineer Sariel Ichere.
Away from that, and members of the Plantation Developers and Seedlings Contractors Association are threatening to take illegal action against the government if they are not paid arrears owed them for providing seedlings in 2021 and 2022 during the National Tree Planting Exercise. The authors calling on the government to pay them before commencing this year's Green Ghana Day exercise or risk facing them in court. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has confirmed that it owes the seedling contractors an amount of 28 million Ghana cedis, but has not been able to give firm assurances on when the amount will be paid. Following the launch of this year's Green Ghana project, the contractors have renewed calls to be paid for services rendered. Speaking to Citi News, the Secretary of the Ashanti Region Plantation Developers and Seedling Contractors Association, Gloria Amponsa, also disclosed that they have been sidelined from this year's exercise.
As we came out to talk about our challenges and our grievances the other time, the minister also came, then he told us that they are putting things in place to pay us our money. And then as I'm talking now, we've not heard anything. The ministry has not called us. They've not talked to us. We've waited for our money. And our monies are not in. But we just heard that they are launching the Green Ghana with an amount of 2.5 million. When that is so, then it means that they are not really going to pay our money. We need our money. If he is able to amount that amount, which is the 2.5 million for a new project, why is it that they are not paying us? So we are pleading with the government and then the ministry as well. They should give us our money. We just saw a letter that they are not involving the farmers in the new project. That is Green Ghana this year. We don't have a problem with it. All that we need is that we need our money. They should pay us before they launch the new project. And we are saying it with emphasis that if they don't pay us, then we will be forced to take legal action.
That was the Secretary of the Ashanti Region Plantation Developers and Seedling Contractors Association, Gloria Amponsa.
The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abdullahi Jinapor, says he will update Ghanaians on the state of the country's forest reserves on May 2. Addressing the media at the National Youth Conference on Natural Resources and Environmental Governance, Abdullahi Jinapor said the government and stakeholders needed to remain focused on restoring the environment to its natural state. He further encouraged the youth to show interest in environmental governance.
I believe that we have to be focused. We cannot allow ourselves to be distracted. We have to be focused. The measures we are putting in place and pursuing on a very sustainable basis, we have to do all we can to continue with these measures. On May 2nd, God willing, I'm leading the Forestry Commission to brief the country on the state of our forest reserves in Ghana and giving a full update to the Ghanaian people through the fourth estate, the media, for the Ghanaian people to understand what is the state of our forest reserves today, what has happened over the years, where are we, what are the measures we are putting in place, where are we heading to. We believe out of that we can get input, we can get critiques to better our policy to be able to protect the forest reserves of our country.
Samuel Abdullahi Jinapor is the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Medina constituency, Francis Xavier Susu, has slammed government on what he describes as a failed effort in the fight against illegal mining. Speaking to journalists at the National Youth Conference, the legislature said some drastic measures ought to be rolled out towards the fight.
I think that the Galamsey fight has been a very disappointing one, and I think let's call a spade a spade. The government has failed the people of Ghana, especially in the wake of the revelations coming up from Professor Frimpong Boateng. Now, let me say that conferences like this and promises made by government and commitment made by government must be backed with action. Sometimes it is quite disappointing to know that government can make very beautiful commitment to, afforestation, make very beautiful commitment to protection of the environment, and yet at the blind side of all Ghanaians, they become the leaders of the environmental degradation. For me, that is duplicity, and that is hypocrisy, and that is bad faith. That is not taking the people of Ghana seriously. And so in the wake of a conference like this, where we are asking all young people to be interested in environmental governance and governance of our natural resources, and the need for all of us to call for right to climate change, and having let's say more I would say modern approach to dealing with climate change issues and policies that deals with issues of climate change, issues of environmental degradation, issues of deforestation. It should not just be a matter of rhetoric.
Member of Parliament for Medina constituency, Francis Xavier Susu.
You are still live here with us here on the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Still to come, residents of Chebi Jam to the defense of President Akufo-Addo, discrediting claims of heavy galamsey in the home of the president as captured in the report by former Environment Minister Professor Frimpong Boateng.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Listen up, people. There's good news for Airtel Tigo customers who haven't started and those who are yet to complete their SIM re-registration. Yes, good news. Complete your SIM re-registration and get free 5 GB data falla to browse, chat, Zoom, TikTok, Snap, and do more on Airtel Tigo to change your world. If your SIM has been blocked, don't worry. You can have your number back and also get a whopping 5 GB data as soon as you register with your Ghana card. Simply visit the nearest Airtel Tigo shop or agent today. Complete your SIM registration now. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant. And she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? Eh? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back to the Citi Prime News. Thank you for staying. Let's now take you to the home of the president in Chibi in the Eastern region, because some residents there have refuted claims made in portions of the Professor Kwabena Frimpong report, which claims that Galamsey activity took place in President Akufo-Addo's residence. Well, portions of the report say that the activity led to the collapse of the president. Well, let's now take you live there and speak with the presidential correspondent, Sami Riafe, who joins us via telephone. Well, Sami, thank you for joining us on the Citi Prime News. You have been to the home of the president. Tell us what you saw vis-a-vis what was captured in the report by the former chair of the defunct Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining.
Thank you very much, Nee. So the house sits on an acre land, divided into two. The first part is made up of gardens, full of gardens within this particular residence. The other part is where the main building is. We are told it's about a 5-bedroom house where the president lives. It's well fenced with heavy wall, very tall indeed, which, barriers or covers the entire house of the president. If you enter the main house, there are trees. You find trees all over the place. You find coconut trees, palm nut trees, and very, very tall trees within this particular residence. And there's no sign or any activity for you to show that Galamsey ever happened within this particular premises or around the premises or anywhere periphery within the residence. The house is well guarded by armed police personnel, and sometimes immigration officials sometimes come in and out of the house to ensure that everything is going on smoothly. We had an opportunity to speak to the caretaker of this house, who says she's been living in this house for the past 32 years, and she has never ever seen any Galamsey activity within this particular premises. The police personnel also confirmed same, and then we spoke to residents who also live within or around the residency of the president, and they deny claims in this particular report of Professor Kwabena Frimpong, suggesting that Galamsey ever took place within this particular premises or even around this particular premises. And they are really, really angry with the claims made by Professor Frimpong in this report. And I've asked the good old professor to, think twice or come again, or even if he has made this particular claim, he should back them with strong evidence. If not that, he should retract that portion in the report, and if possibly apologize to the president for this particular claims he made in the report. We can listen to some of the residents.
The reports. Okay, so as you can see, do you see any evidence of a bulldozer having done that some time ago? As you can see, there is nothing of that sort that has taken place here. So we are astonished by that part, especially of the report, because we stay in this area and we know that what the professor is talking about is nothing but palpable falsehood.
We are all from this place, okay? And my house is just nearby the president house. So always we used to patronize here. And then nothing is going on like that. Look around. Always, because the president said we have to watch that some people have been doing all these things in around this, our forests, everything. Do you understand? Yes. So we used to be watching all these things. So the back of his house, and people are saying that, or his own house, that people are digging there for a gold. It doesn't speak well of those people who are saying that. For the professor, I don't know. Maybe once they have quit him from where he is, that's what maybe he's trying to be. It has been baffled him. That's why maybe he's doing that. You see, it's not fair to be as a big man or older person like that to speak like that. It doesn't go like that. It's very bad that you want to disgrace the president.
Those were some residents of Chebi speaking about an alleged illegal mining activity at President Akufo-Addo's residence. Earlier, you heard a presidential correspondent here at Citi FM and Citi TV, Sammy Riafe, telling us about what he saw when he visited the home of the president, vis-a-vis what was captured in the report by Environment Minister Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng.
The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, says Africa is not deterred by threats of withdrawal of investments and international aid and other stringent economic measures as it seeks to protect its culture and values in order to safeguard the future of its youth. The Speaker contends that there must be an alignment and acceptance of a group's understanding of what constitutes human rights values and principles. Speaking at a meeting with an array of members of the British House of Lords and the House of Commons at Westminster in London, Alban Bagbin said Ghana's parliament had the mandate and the capability to legislate on matters surrounding LGBTQI+ and would not countenance any interference from the executive. He explained that the role of the president was to assent to bills submitted to him by parliament. In the process, the president could make recommendations for the consideration of parliament. However, final legislative powers rested with the legislature, not the executive. The speaker explained that Ghana's constitution was heavy on the promotion and protection of various fundamental human rights and freedoms and gave an assurance that curtailing human rights was not the target of the anti-LGBTQ bill under reference. Rather, it was about the protection of rights as well as values.
Away from that, and the Pensioner Bondholders Forum has announced a decision to picket at the Finance Ministry tomorrow to demand the payment of coupons and principals on their bonds. The government has failed to honor its debt obligations to the pensioner bondholders who were exempted from the domestic debt exchange program and individual bondholders who did not participate in the program. Since February this year, principals and coupons have been outstanding on 22 bonds issued amounting to over 1 billion Ghana cedis. The pensioner bondholders who picketed at the Finance Ministry for 2 weeks to secure an exemption from the debt exchange program say they will resort to the same action if the payments are not made by tomorrow, April 28, 2023. Dr. Edu Ananientwi is convener for the Pensioner Bondholders Forum.
And principals that are due to be paid to bondholders who didn't tender in their bonds under the DDEP. For example, the pensioners who were exempted and the individual bondholders who also didn't tender their bonds and were promised to be paid as and when it is due. Now here we are. All these are overdue. Some of them, the first one, which is a principal, is overdue for more than 2 months, 65 days. It runs through up to today. And so that is what we are facing. All these coupons have not been paid. And 3 principals have matured, they have not been paid. That is the current situation we are facing. And this is where we have said if government doesn't pay us by Friday, 28th, pensioners will start or resume their picketing at the Ministry of Finance.
You hear the convener for the Pensioner Bondholders Forum, Dr. Edu Ananientwi.
The National Union of Ghana Students says it is in talks with the Foreign Affairs Ministry on the repatriation of Ghanaian students to Ghana from Sudan. Nooks has commended the government for taking swift action to evacuate stranded Ghanaians from Sudan following intense clashes in the country between the Sudanese Armed Forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. Speaking to Citi News, the International Relations Secretary of Nooks, Alexander Pong-Chichiku, gave the assurance that there were plans on the table to bring them back to Ghana safely.
For now, the update we have is that every one of them is doing well. By the grace of God, nobody was hurt through the entire impasse. But for plans to repatriate them back to Ghana, we've had conversations with the ministry and the Director of Consular Affairs. The processes as it were finalized on the nationalities of all of them. I mean, getting the needed details from all of them before they are repatriated back to Ghana are going to start in Ethiopia. So as we speak, they are currently in Ethiopia. And this morning, when we spoke to our student union leader in Sudan, he confirmed to us that they were moving from Gadaref to Ethiopia. And so by now, they are in Ethiopia. But after all of the processes are done with, then there will be a decision on the date, the exact date when they will be moved back to Ghana. That is as per the conversation we've had yesterday with the Director of Consular Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
You heard the International Relations Secretary of NUGS, Alexandra Pong-Chichiku.
Moving on, the business community is predicting a shortage of commodities in the country if government does not put measures in place to curb the current fall of traffic at the various ports of entry in the country. The community bemoans the decline in traffic is as a result of the harsh economic conditions business owners have had to bear with. Speaking to Citi News, the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki Awingobit, warned the fall in traffic at the ports will continue until government institutes proper economic measures.
The situation is going to be worsened. The plight of Ghanaian consumer will be worsened. If care is not taken, there will be a shortage of commodity and food in this country by July. By July, there will be. If this is how it's going to happen. And I can tell you, business temperature is so high. And so, is there going to be anything further decline of importations of goods into this country? I will tell you, it's absolutely yes. That's what's going to happen. And we are even going to see more further reduction than it is now. It is not about Ghana Port and Harbour Authority being in charge that is making importers run away to other neighboring ports. It is about central government, the finance minister, have introduced policies and taxes, tariffs that is killer. And that is why business community can no longer import through our port here.
Well, Mr. Awingobit is also urging the Ghana Revenue Authority to defer the implementation of the 3 newly assented revenue taxes.
I've seen GRA asking organizations to come to them and give them revenue projection for this year, their tax obligation, how much they will be able to pay for tax to the state. I strongly believe that we want to tell every business person that we are not making the needed profit. And so how on earth will I go and make projections that sales is not going? There's no sales is not going. People are just sitting and looking at their wares, sitting in their stores, sitting in their warehouses. And so such a projection, you will just put a rope on your own and say, GRS will hang you. I strongly believe that that is not the way to go. And if I have my way, I think that GRS should defer this trade taxes that they have just issued a statement to say by 1st of May the implementation will take effect. I can tell you the 2023 budget itself projections will not be met this year, let alone trade taxes to give them more revenue.
That was the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki Awingobit, speaking there.
Now, the National Identification Authority within the Doma Central Municipality in the Bono region is calling on applicants to report to the office for their Ghana cards. According to the municipality, more than 2,000 NIA cards, which have already been printed from the mass registration and mop-up exercises in 2019 and 2020 respectively, are yet to be collected. The municipality indicated that it has made several announcements about the collection, but have not yielded much result. The Doma Central Registration Officer at the authority, Emmanuel Edu, expressed worry over the matter.
We have a number of cards at our office. Recently, we printed most of those cards at our head office. They were successfully brought to the district offices for further distribution to and issuance to the applicant. We've had radio stations announced to the applicants so that they come in for the cards. Initially, we had a number of them coming in, but then that number now isn't very much encouraging us. Many of them are starting to come for the cards. As to why they are still yet to determine, But then we are hoping very soon they start coming in for the cards. We do know that they need a card for various activities, and that is why we hope they come in for such cards. Actually, we have a whole lot of them. Calling individuals is going to be quite cumbersome. But then what we've done is we've contacted most of the assemblymen within the area, especially with cards from the mass registration. We've been able to give out lists of such people to the assemblymen, so they announce to their people, then they rather come in for the card.
You heard Doma Central Registration Officer at the National Identification Authority, Emmanuel Edu.
You are still listening to the City Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM live from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka here in Accra. The bulletin is also live across the country on our partner stations and around the world on citynewsroom.com. My name is Ni Lati here with Eno Safo. Still ahead, Chief Justice nominee Justice Gertrude Tokono underscores the need for a communication, enforcement of law, and the use of technology to achieve higher productivity in the field of work.
City Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Some call it the Big Red Box. Others call it a treasure trove. Explore our range of furniture. Kitia Mall is a real wonderland with a fascinating experience. From the moment you enter, right through to the moment you leave, you will feel inspired. There's so much to see, touch, and feel as you walk through Kitia Mall. We are now open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day and 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Sundays. Visit us today off Spinkters Road and explore our range of furniture and decor accessories that match your lifestyle needs.
No power. Another season of the Citi FM Family Consecration is here again. Your family radio station invites you to the 2023 edition of the Family Consecration Service. Let's hold ourselves in readiness as we prepare for a time of divine renewal, visitation, and restoration for our families and loved ones. Join us on Monday, 1st of May, 2023 at the Winners Chapel, Ghana, Accra, near the OA Bus Terminal Circle as we intercede and commit our families to God. It's going to be a 6-hour intense moment of prayer time for families from 6 a.m. till 12 noon. Come and let us reinforce the resurrection power of Christ, which ensures our forgiveness, healing, business breakthroughs and open doors, sound and prosperous marriages, divine blessings in career and destiny fulfillment over our families. There will also be a time for the renewal of vows for married couples. The 2023 Family Consecration Service is powered by 97.3 Citi FM with support from Citi TV. As always, the family that prays together stays together.
Kofi, Kwame, you know, I know, Ajwa knows. Even Brima said it yesterday that millions of Ghanaians are taking the COVID-19 vaccines, and they all say it is the right thing to do. It is safe, so take your ID and go to the nearest health facility or any COVID-19 vaccination center to get the jab. It will protect you from being knocked down by the disease or even going on admission. Protect yourself and protect your family. If you have the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, then you can go for the booster shot after your first dose. The vaccines are there, they are safe, and they are free. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your community. The COVID-19 vaccine reduces the severity of the disease and prevents hospitalization.
This message is brought to you by Ghana Health Service. Good life, live it well. USAID and partners.
City Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Let's bring you more stories now. And the Chief of Mission of the International Organization for Migration, Fatou Diallo Ndiaye, has called on the youth to be circumspect in their quest to migrate to other countries. In an interview with Citi News, the Chief of Mission explained that it is the responsibility on any individual desirous of traveling to first seek education on safe and dignified means of survival in order to avoid falling victim to abuse in other countries. She made these statements after the IOM UN Migration Ghana facilitated the safe return of some 167 Ghanaians who voluntarily requested to return home due to unbearable conditions.
If we keep saying that Africa is a future, and because of our demography and because of our youth, we need to stay to develop Africa. But if we are fleeing and we are all outside of Africa, Africa will never be the future in this world. This is first. The second one is that with 500 cedi, we can build something if we believe that we can build something and we believe in these things. What we are providing as envelope through the EU IOM joint initiative, it's something big. And then you can really rebuild your life with this. I would like to see this Africa with using the competencies that are fleeing outside of Africa.
Fatal Diallo Ndiaye is the chief of mission of the International Organization for Migration. Away from that, let's do politics now, because the Greater Accra branch of the opposition National Democratic Congress has begun the vetting of parliamentary candidate hopefuls ahead of May 13 primaries. Let's speak to my colleague Philip Nilate, who joins us on the telephone with more. Well, Philip, what more can you tell us about the commencement of the vetting by the Greater Accra Regional branch of the NDC? Hello, Philip.
Regional branch. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear now.
Of the NDC, that is committee, has vetted and constituencies and remaining 4 constituencies, and these constituencies.
No, Philip, your line is quite terrible. Can you reposition yourself so that we have a better feed in the studios?
So, Nilate, can you hear me?
We can manage with this.
Is it quite okay now?
It's better now.
Okay, good. Initially, I stated that the Greater Regional branch of the NDC, that is the vetting committee, has vetted aspirants from 30 constituencies, remaining 2 constituencies. Out of the 4 constituencies, 2 constituencies have been declared by the Functional Executive Committee of NDC to go ahead with the exercise. And each 2 constituencies are the Ayasu Central constituency and Amasan constituency. Today, the vetting committee is continuing the vetting exercise of parliamentary candidate hopefuls from these constituencies. So, in the Ayasu constituencies, 5 parliamentary candidate hopefuls will be vetted. Currently, the vetting is ongoing, and Honorable Sophia Akpaku, who is the MP for Dom Obum Kanyabra, is at the vetting committee. Is also there. Abdul Tubasu, also Teresa Mamele Becky, also have Adolf Williams, who is also before the vetting committee. So these 5 are from the Ayasu Central constituency. It's interesting to know that the Amasaman constituency that was also put on hold, the parliamentary candidate hopefuls will be vetted today, and the Amasaman constituency has the highest number of parliamentary candidate hopefuls in the entire process. And they have 9 parliamentary candidate hopefuls. They have some more who contested for the seat in the 2020 election but lost to the NPP. That is FIFA Akwisi. And also we have Okulu Williams Christy Ahamadi, who is also from the Asamasaman constituency, contesting for the seat or to become the parliamentary candidate of that particular constituency. We have Kwashi Emmanuel, Ernest George Thompson. We have Martini Ayi Tego, Precious Preku, and also Henry Ni Mabel, and also Mamudu Amadu. These are the 9 from the Amasaman constituency. So the vetting has started, hoping that it's going to end by 5 p.m. today, and that is what was stated by the General Secretary of the NDC in the region, that is the Greater Accra region, and also a member of the vetting committee, Honorable Theophilus Petachai.
All right, we are grateful to you. That's Philip Nilate telling us about today's vetting of parliamentary candidate hopefuls by the opposition National Democratic Congress. Well, 14 parliamentary candidates are expected to be vetted today, and they are from the Ayasu Central and Amasaman constituencies. We'll be bringing you more later in our subsequent bulletins.
A criminologist and a lecturer at the KNUST, Dr. Jones Opokuwari, is urging police investigators to look beyond the demand of refund of 5,000 Ghana cedis as the motive that pushed Police Inspector Ahmed Chumesi to allegedly kill his girlfriend at Edum in Kumasi. He has also attributed the many murder cases in the country, particularly in the Ashanti region, to the low conviction rate, which may have emboldened others to also engage in the act. There's more in the following report by Citi News' Bureau Chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Opomafo.
The alleged killing of 26-year-old Victoria Dapa, also known as Majwa, by her boyfriend, who is a police officer, has thrown the Edum neighborhood in Kumasi into a state of shock. Police investigators have established that a police officer, who has now been remanded, Inspector Ahmed Chumesi, was in a relationship with the deceased Majwa. The family members have disclosed to Citi News that indeed the police officer used to visit the family house of the deceased. They narrate that less than a month ago, as a result of a misunderstanding between the two, the police officer pulled the deceased from the washroom and threatened to kill her and then kill himself if she does not agree to marry him. The family tells Citi News Majwa did not agree to marry the officer because he's already married with kids. The family says as a result of the frosty relationship between them, on the fateful day the incident happened, 20th April 2023, the deceased refused to answer any of the police officers' calls. The police say the suspect then invited a mutual friend, one Eunice Osubuachi, to accompany him to Majwa's house to resolve an issue between them on the day of the incident. The suspect called the deceased to meet him at a location not far from her house, where he demanded from the deceased to give him 5,000 Ghana cedis from monies he claimed he gave to the deceased. But when she refused to repay, he pulled a service pistol, which was issued to him for official duty, and shot her multiple times in the chest and abdomen. The police are relying on information from eyewitnesses and CCTV footages obtained from shops closer to the crime scene, which captured the incident. As the officer has been remanded into police custody, he is expected to reappear before the Asukariman District Court on 30th May 2023. Speaking to Citi News, a criminologist, Dr. Jones Opokuwari, says there could be more to the issue and may not be limited to the demand of the refund of 5,000 Ghana cedis.
I feel that what the suspect may have given, whilst we can look at it and interrogate the issue on that line, probably we also have to look at more other issues. Because if you look at the chain of events that led to the crime being committed, it suggests to me that there were other precursors, to the issues.
He thus warns persons in relationships to look out for certain early signals and act accordingly when the relationship begins to turn sour.
There might be some precursors to this murder, beyond what probably might have been said in court in recent, based on the recent accounts that we have of what had transpired in the court. And these murders, as I say, they don't just happen. They are not events. They are a process. What it means is that there are always, some form of signals to them before they actually happened. So if, for instance, you had a situation where the suspect over the period could go into the guy's family, the lady's family, and threaten her and even pull her out of certain, rooms and threaten her, what it means is that there are certain triggers. There are certain issues that probably might have brought up to what finally happened on the day. So that is why it is very important that when we are in a relationship, this should go for everybody, as Ghanaians and as people who go into relationships and even in marriages. Okay, we have these kind of scenarios that normally play out, and before they happen, there are always some form of red lights that you have to look at.
Dr. Jones Opokuwari says the many murder cases being recorded could be as a result of the low conviction rates involving such matters.
So if you look at everything that even happened in this issue that we've been looking at for the past week, you can see some level of impunity. Okay, where somebody feels that, look, if I need this and you don't give it to me, I can actually take your life and probably nothing will happen to me. It's that form of impunity that's where you live in a society where murders are not resolved to the end, where justice are not given to the victims and the family. It is that kind of impunity that is created. And I wish that this new police administration that is headed by Dr. Dampari will take issues of murders very serious. And I'm happy because if you look at the way the administration have operated for some time now, immediately these crimes happen. Just within a week or two, the suspects are arrested. But I've said, I don't judge the success of the criminal justice system with arrest rates. I judge the success with conviction rates. That is to say, until people are convicted for the crimes that they commit, I still don't see the criminal justice system as successful. Unfortunately, we seem to have more of arrest rates, less of conviction rates, and that must change.
Many murder cases in Ghana remain unresolved and convictions have not been secured. This experts fear could embolden others to engage in same, and as such, they want stakeholders to find a comprehensive way of addressing these issues. For Citi News, I'm Edward Oponmavo, Kumasi.
From Kumasi, let's take a quick dash and come back to the capital here in Accra, where Chief Justice nominee Justice Gertrude Tokonu has highlighted effective communication, enforcement of law and order, and leveraging on technology as key strategies to achieving higher productivity at workplaces. The Superior Court judge made this known at a public lecture on harnessing good work ethics for higher productivity. Addressing a gathering of fellow judges, academicians, industry players, and students at the University of Professional Studies Accra, Justice Tokonu indicated that it is only when these strategies outlined are coordinated appropriately that organizations can achieve higher productivity.
For workplaces to be distinctively productive, the crisp and discernible elements in the vision of any organization must be reiterated consistently and clearly for all teams and kept at the foreview of all stakeholders. Vision and mission statements must go beyond being documents that are assumed to be read. Transparency, clarity, and continuity of engagement and collaborations are always critical ethical values that must be harnessed to ensure productivity, because any chain is as strong as its weakest link. Communication increases understanding, and understanding increases cooperation and collaboration. Communication increases learning, and learning increases capacity to achieve. It does not matter that the communication is with regard to the most technical subject, so long as it is presented in a clear, simple, and bite-sized manner. No, quote, technical subject, unquote, need be considered as complicated for any member of a team in an institution.
You heard the Chief Justice nominee, Justice Gertrude Tokonu. And that's it for today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which came to you live from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka here in Accra. Some of the stories we brought to you: Busa South NP Clement Apak says government misplaced priorities in the educational sector is to blame for the woes of caterers under the school feeding program. Also, seedlings contractors under the Green Ghana project renew threat to sue government over non-payment of 2 years arrears for services provided under the tree planting exercise. We also took you to Chebi in the eastern region, where residents there have jammed to the defense of President Akufo-Addo, discrediting claims of heavy galamsey in the home of the president, as reported by former Environment Minister Professor Frimpong Boateng in his Galamsey report. The bulletin was live across the country on our affiliate Premier FM 100.5 in Takoradi and Beach 105.5 FM also in Takoradi. Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani, Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi, Akpini Radio 96.7 megahertz in Pando, and Heritage FM 107.3 in Hohoi. If you listened to us in the northern region, this was Dasoma 99.1 FM in Yendi, Word FM 88.3 in Zwarungu in the Upper East region, Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura in the Upper West region, and Eagle FM 0.1 in Wale Wale in the Northeast region. My name is Ni Lati. I was here this afternoon with
Eno Safo.
Many thanks indeed for accompanying. There is more news when you visit our website, citynewsroom.com. Michael Obodo is next with the afternoon's edition of the City Business News.